After 3 weeks without an arrest, a new development tonight in the Idaho college murder case.
Police in Moscow, Idaho, have zeroed in on a vehicle they're now searching for.
Police temporarily expanding the crime scene, blocking off this wooded area and parking lot behind the house.
Okay, so we are at the back of the house where the murders happened. This is the house right here. You can see the police line is still up. I've shown you this parking lot before. There's this big parking lot right behind because there's an apartment building right over there. But we wanted to show you what's even further back behind the house. So follow me. You walk to the back of the parking lot over here, to the very back corner. And there's this trail right here. Came up that path, you could have parked up here somewhere. Pan this way and show you. When you come around this corner, there's an intersection here. That's a dead-end street that way. This way is not a dead-end street. This is Ridge Road. So Walenta Drive we were on, this is Ridge Road. You see there's a whole other neighborhood up here. Ton of houses. And that area down below connects to this whole area up here.
Authorities say that the first of several sightings of suspect vehicle 1 in the King Road area occurred at 3:29 a.m. At 4:04 a.m., suspect vehicle 1 can be seen entering the area a fourth time. It can be seen driving eastbound on Queen Road, stopping and turning around in front of 500 Queen Road, apartment number 52. And then driving back westbound on Queen Road. When suspect vehicle 1 is in front of the King Road residence, it appeared to unsuccessfully attempt to park or turn around in the road. The vehicle then continued to the intersection of Queen Road and King Road, where it can be seen completing a 3-point turn and then driving eastbound again down Queen Road. At this point, we can presume that it's between 4:08 and 4:09 a.m. There are no more sightings of the suspect vehicle during this time frame until it is seen exiting the area at a high rate of speed at 4:20 a.m. The state does not specify if and where the vehicle parked in this approximate 10-minute time frame, but since it was not captured on the Linda Lane camera or the 1112 camera, we can presume that the car either parked or idled around the King Road residence, likely in this little back parking area. So if we are to presume, as the state appears to be implying, that suspect vehicle 1 belongs to Bryan Kohberger, and that Bryan Kohberger and Bryan Kohberger alone allegedly murdered all 4 students, then you must also rationalize this extremely narrow window of opportunity. Approximately 8 minutes to brutally kill 4 healthy young people. And this allows 1 minute each for ingress and egress, and another minute to start the car, round the corner, and make it back down to 1112 King Road to be caught exiting the neighborhood at 4:20 a.m.
First, start by explaining why this search for this white vehicle.
So we have information of a white vehicle that was in the area either during the time frame of the homicide or around the time frame of the homicide, and we are just wanting to talk to the individuals who are in that vehicle. They may have some valuable information for us, and we're looking for a 2011 to a 2013 Hyundai Elantra. So any assistance you can give us, anybody that owns one, anybody that knows of someone who owns one or may have been driving one, if you could get a hold of us through our tip line or call us directly, we'd appreciate that.
Through our tips, through our leads, some of the evidence that came in, we start to identify patterns. And like we said earlier, we are confident that the occupant or occupants of that vehicle have information that's critical to this investigation. So far, we have a list of approximately 22,000 registered white Hyundai Elantras that fit into our criteria that we're sorting through. That's an awful lot of information.
What kind of progress has been made regarding the search for information about the white Hyundai Elantra?
We have looked at massive amounts of video footage, especially in the critical camera areas, and we've looked at the 24 hours prior to and 24 hours after of those, and now we're extending that out even further to other cameras and other time frames.
Have you guys found the murder weapon or the Hyundai Elantra?
So we are still looking for all pieces of evidence, but we are still looking for the weapon. And I will say that we have found an Elantra.
The white Elantra, 2015, is it the car? And is the search over now for any more white Elantras?
We believe it is the car.
In new court filings, Kohberger's attorneys accuse the state of trying to hide its entire case. They say it's unclear what police first relied on in focusing their investigation on him, the Elantra or genetic genealogy.
How the car was first identified remains a mystery to the defense, and like with the DNA, they're demanding answers. Now, Kohberger's lawyers want to know exactly how police were able to identify specifically a white Hyundai Elantra based off of these blurry images of a white sedan. They also claim that the analyst working on this was heavily relying on a video of a car heading in the wrong direction at the wrong time. One final line at the end of the defense's argument hit me like a ton of bricks, because it suggests that the state's case might not be as strong as we all thought. His lawyer writes, there is no explanation for the total lack of DNA evidence from the victims in Mr. Kohberger's apartment, office, home, or vehicle.
On November 29, 2022, a WSU police officer queried white Elantras registered at WSU. As a result of that query, he located a 2015 white Elantra with the Pennsylvania license plate registered to Bryan Kohberger. So if they had his name by November 29th, why wasn't Bryan brought in for questioning about his whereabouts on the night of the murders? They could have even asked him for a DNA sample to clear him by comparing it to the DNA that was apparently found on the knife sheath. But instead, they decided to covertly follow him across the country. The FBI may or may not have been surveilling his parents' home. They want to do this backward-ass DNA process, and now they don't want to show their work, how they collected trash from his family's residence on December 27th, ran back to Idaho, planted his DNA on the knife sheath, and case closed. It doesn't matter that there's no blood evidence from the victims. It doesn't matter that there's no connection to the victims. And it doesn't matter if that's even his white Elantra. We've got DNA at the scene, and that's irrefutable. There is no evidence of a stalker. There is no evidence of social media contact between the suspect and the victims. These are narratives that have been perpetuated by figures who are complicit in the cover-up. And no, this is not a conspiracy theory. What you are witnessing is conspiracy. Conspiracy to cover up a crime and frame an individual in order to protect the organized crime that is happening in Moscow, Idaho, which the police force is likely involved in, but definitely protecting. In conclusion, if you are willing to convict Kohberger, that is, sentence this man to death, you must also be willing to concede the 8-minute window of opportunity, a total lack of DNA evidence, a lack of motive, a shady investigation, suspicious witnesses, inconsistent vehicle identifications, a prosecution that doesn't want to hand over evidence, and most importantly, no connections whatsoever to the victims.